All right. Is Commissioner Lanier on? Joel, can you see, is Commissioner Lanier on? Am I missing her? Oh, there she is. All right. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, okay. All right, well, we'll go ahead and call this our evening meeting to order. We'll start today. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. We'll start today with a moment of silence before we do Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll go to roll call. So if you would join me just to take a few moments for reflection and silence. Thank you. All right, if you would join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. All right, next I'll turn to our city clerk for a roll call.
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor?
Present.
Commissioner Ruppert?
Here.
Commissioner Moody?
Present.
Commissioner Isasi?
Present.
Commissioner Lanier?
Present.
Mayor Bliss?
Yes. All right, thank you. So, so tonight, commissioners, before I introduce Ms. Lilybeth Perez, who is available for translations, I just want to bring your attention to a couple things. So we do have a few opportunities for public comment. The first opportunity will be public comment on action items. So these are items that we'll actually be voting on tonight. And then commissioners, we do have two scheduled public hearings, but they're public hearings that are related to the same project. And they're both related to the Obsolete Property Rehabilitation District and Exemption Certificate. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to combine those and do those together. So if everyone is good with that, we'll go ahead and do those together. So there'll be one scheduled public hearing tonight. So if you're interested in speaking on the Obsolete Property Rehabilitation District for the property at 730 and 736 Leonard Street, that's a scheduled public hearing, and I'll ask you to hold your comments until we open that up for a public comment. And then at the end of the evening will be public comment on any other items. So if you want to call in for public comment, you can call 456-3000 or 311, hit number 1. For the first opportunity for public comment, you hit number 1. For the scheduled public hearing for the Oprah, you can hit 2. And then the last opportunity, you can hit the number 5. So with that, I'd like to introduce Ms. Lilybeth Perez. She'll be available tonight if you need assistance with translation services. So Ms. Perez.
Thank you, Mayor Bliss. If you need interpretation services to address the City Commission, I will be able to assist. Please dial 456-3000 or 311 and choose the option you wish to speak on tonight. Buenas noches. Si necesita servicios de interpretación para dirigirse a la Comisión de la Ciudad, estaré disponible para ayudarle. Marque el 456-3000 o el 311 y elija la opción en la que desea comentar esta noche. Gracias.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. All right, so that will take us to our first opportunity for public comment. Again, this is public comment only on action items that we are voting on tonight. So earlier today, we had a number of standing committee meetings where we had items that we voted on. So we'll open it up for public comment. For that, we ask that you share your name, the city that you live in. You'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak. And again, for this first opportunity, we ask that you be very specific about what item that you want to speak to. Daniel, is there anyone in the queue?
Here comes the first caller, Mayor.
Thank you.
Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name, the city in which you live, the agenda item you wish to speak upon. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Watchdog Miller reporting by way of standing. The Millers have been in town since 1879, and some 18 Millers are, including my parents, are very here in Grand Rapids. Looking at 90395, you never, so also under 8.1 and 8.2, City Comptroller and Finance Report, adding a new position of for let's see, under 739, Director of Equity and Engagement, you never formally created that position. You simply sneakily snuck it in under a vague ordinance, salary ordinance. So we're looking at 90395-739, salary grade 22U. Before formally applying for that position, that's what I've done for the last 16 years here. I've crusaded for return the black bus routes to City Hall and to all the government buildings along Monroe. So it's my formal application as first director of Grand Rapids Diversity, Equity, Engagement Office, and immediately I would defund the position and divert the funds towards new neighborhood sidewalk plowing. Fascist Stacy is unfit for the position. I took the record. She leads a trail.
Mayor, I think I heard a derogatory remark, Mayor.
Yeah, Mr. Miller, you cannot refer to people in a derogatory way. That's unacceptable, and I'm not going to stand for it. And you and I have had this conversation before.
Well, you're interrupting.
No, Mr. Miller, you and I have had this conversation. That's not acceptable.
Well, it was until you became mayor, okay?
That is not true. I sat around this table when Mayor Hartwell was here, and he gave you a lot of very candid feedback as well about what was appropriate and what was not.
That call has been disconnected, Mayor.
Thank you, Daniel. Is there anyone else in the queue?
Yes, Mayor. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name, the city in which you live, and the agenda item you wish to speak on. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
This is Gerard, architect, I live in Grand Rapids. I'm calling about the unhoused people, the homeless people in Parkside Park. Please don't let the Grand Rapids Police Department displace them. They don't have anywhere to go. The shelters are only for men. There's no place for women to go to. There's at least 150 people there right now. And half of them are not men. There's nowhere else to go. They're going to lose all their belongings if they're removed from the park tomorrow. We have to do something else to take care of these people. Destroying the camp will leave them without shelter, and the police need to do something besides removing them. There's plenty of, I believe, funds to house these people. The Grand Rapids Police Department has more than $1 million for homeless research. So that's my request. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name, the city in which you live, and the agenda item you wish to speak on. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hi, my name is Kellen. I live in Grand Rapids. I'd like to speak on multiple agenda items. Thank you for taking my call. I'd like to first express my appreciation to the Fiscal Committee for spending money on contracts with groups like Harriet Speaks and National Equity Project that will help build equity in education and in the city of Grand Rapids leadership. I also appreciate the committee as a whole for engaging in good faith discussion about updating the zoning laws within the city and allowing a public hearing to occur. These changes are a step in the right direction in terms of building accessible and affordable housing, and I applaud you for that. With that being said, I would also like to express my concerns with how the city is updating its fiscal year 2021 budget to give $1.3 million to the GRPD for its homeless outreach team and Operation Safe Neighborhoods. Discourse around defunding the police includes removing police from situations that can be handled by other trained professionals, such as social workers and mental health care workers. The real solution for the unhoused is to provide housing funding the police does not address this extremely prolonged issue. The city's housing needs are skyrocketing. Estimates show the city will need to invest at least $1.5 billion 5 years just in that sector. Obtaining that level of funding seems impossible right now, I'm sure. Therefore, it's very concerning that we are considering allowing a company with a $6.6 billion market cap that uses federal tax loopholes to then skirt city taxes for 12 years. Yes, I am talking about Perigo. We all pay taxes. Companies should pay taxes too. I understand the significance of bringing new white-collar jobs to the city. However, it is time to stop these huge billion-dollar companies from gaining profits they obtain off of the city's labor force without paying their taxes, just like everyone else does, every worker does in the city, just as all of you commissioners do. Thank you. I'd like to end my time.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name, the city in which you live, and the agenda item on which you'd like to speak. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hi, my name is Madeline. I live in Grand Rapids. I would like to speak on the agenda item for the fiscal budget update. Specifically, the CARES Act revenue recognition and appropriation. The CARES Act money is intended to reimburse and fund coronavirus relief efforts. And so you've done some interesting, funny accounting here in order to be able to shift this into the police department budget. The Grand Rapids Police Department already has over a $56 million budget, and you are now moving $1.3 million of CARES Act funding into that budget for homeless outreach. Homeless outreach is great. I would commend you for doing homeless outreach, but you're actually moving this money in order to pay salaries. You're not moving this money to actually help homeless people in any way. This money could be used for direct assistance to people and not to pay the salaries of police officers that have been seen to physically assault homeless people, to be walking towards them with a rock in their hand to wake them up. I would rather see this money, if we are going to use it, using it for homeless people is great. That would be a part of helping with coronavirus relief efforts. Our homeless encampment is a significant issue in terms of coronavirus. I would love to see us help these people get individual housing. Let's use it for that, not for a department that already has a $56 million budget. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. There are no more callers in the queue, Mayor.
Thank you, Daniel. We'll close that opportunity for public comment, and that will take us to approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. These are minutes from our last meeting on December 1st. Commissioners, any questions or comments about those? All right, seeing none, we'll turn to our city clerk to call the vote.
Commissioner Isasi,
Yes.
Commissioner Repart,
Yes.
Commissioner Lanier,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Mayor Bliss.
Yes, it carries. All right, that will take us to petitions and communications, and we have one item tonight.
Communication received from Scott Atchison regarding a downtown information center.
That is received and filed. That will take us to reports of city officers.
The first one, the Comptroller's report for the period of November 18, 2020 through December 1, 2020 in the amount of $27,031,496.93.
That's received and filed.
A Treasurer's report for the period of November 14, 2020 through November 27, 2020.
That's received and filed.
Quarterly investment report for July 2020 through September 2020.
That is received and filed.
And the city clerk submitted the 2021 standing committees and other commissioner appointments report.
And that is received and filed. All right, that will take us then to our consent agenda. So our consent agenda are items that we talked about earlier today where there was a unanimous vote. So tonight with one voice vote, we'll adopt those items. Commissioners, can I get approval for our consent agenda?
So moved.
Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you. Thank you. Moved and supported. We had a busy day, as you can tell. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right, City Clerk, will you call the vote for the consent agenda?
Commissioner Repart,
Yes.
Commissioner Lanier,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Isasi,
Yes.
Mayor Bliss.
Yes, it carries. All right, that will take us to ordinances to be adopted, and we have one ordinance before us tonight. This is an ordinance amending.
Sorry, I got it. Ordinance amending Section 1 of the Budget Ordinance 2020-15 for fiscal year 2021, Amendment Number 10.
Thank you, City Clerk. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Commissioner O'Connor from our Fiscal Committee, you want to tell us about this?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, several items on here tonight. We received a grant from the Bureau of Justice Assistance for some armored vests for the police department. Fire department, we're purchasing some fleet vehicles. This was actually supposed to happen last year, but due to COVID, the vehicles weren't ready until this year. So that was finally able to pay for those. Engineering department is aligning some money for vital streets. Our community's children received a grant for an administrative aid position. Michigan Street Corridor Improvement Authority has some facade grants that they're going to be doing. South Division has Corridor Improvement Authority has several projects that they're working on. Our community's children just received some additional funding for the LEAD program and some other programs. We also have the coronavirus relief grant recognition, which pays for a variety of items in multiple departments. That's about it.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, any questions or comments about those items? All right, I'll turn to our City Clerk for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Lanier,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody, Commissioner Isasi, Commissioner Repart,
Yes.
Yes.
and Mayor Bliss.
Yes, and can I get a motion to give this immediate effect?
So moved.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. City Clerk, will you call the vote?
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Yes.
Commissioner Moody,
Yes.
Commissioner Isasi,
Yes.
Commissioner Repart,
Yes.
Commissioner Lanier,
Aye.
Mayor Bliss.
Yes, it carries. All right, Commissioners, that will take us to our scheduled public hearings tonight. So as I indicated, we have two on our agenda, but they're the same project. So I'd like to take those together. So I'll read both of them and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Gracia to share some additional information with us before we open it up for public comment. So we have a public hearing to consider the establishment of an obsolete property rehabilitation district pursuant to PA 146 of 2000 for 730 Leonard Street Partners LLC, which is located at 730 and 736 Leonard Street Northwest. And then a companion to that is a public hearing to consider an application for a 12-year obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate. So one's for the district, one's for the certificate, pursuant to PA 146 of 2000 for the same property at 730 and 736 Leonard Street Northwest. So notice of this hearing has been made in writing pursuant to state law. And so we'll start this public hearing tonight, as I said, with Mr. Gracia. I don't know if anyone is here from the project who wishes to speak. Okay.
There are representatives.
Okay, great. And is it Mike and Peter?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. So we'll start with Mr. Gracia, and then we'll turn it over to see if Mike or Peter wants to add any thoughts, and then we'll open it up for public comment. So take it away.
Sure. So this public hearing is for 730 Leonard and 736 Leonard Street Northwest. It's a project of approximately 21,000 square foot building. The plan is to rehab this building, including the renovation of the interior space for 18 apartments, first floor office and retail, and some basement level storage. Total investment will be $2.5 million with $1.7 million in hard construction costs. So the applicant will attempt to achieve net carbon zero with the rehabilitation and pursue LEED certification. In addition, the applicant is working to receive a 15% micro local business enterprise, MLBE, women-owned business enterprise, or WBE, and minority-owned business enterprise, MBE, participation in the project. So those are important priorities listed in our strategic plan and our equitable economic development and mobility strategic plan. And also this will be one of our first projects to utilize the inclusion plan for MLBE, MBE, and WBE that we will be implementing in January 21. So I'm going to turn it over to the applicants for any questions or any additional comments, and I'm also happy to answer any questions from well. So, Mayor, back to you.
I don't know if I can see our guest tonight, but want to make sure they have the ability to speak.
That was a great description. I know we're tight on time, so I won't spend much more time. A couple other things to point out is that we will be moving our existing offices into this space, which is exciting for us to be on an exciting street like Leonard Street. I'd also like to point out that the current owner and a longtime tenant in the building, Chaser Apparel, will continue their operations in the southeast retail space. As pointed out, it's going to be a net zero carbon. It's going to be targeted LEED Gold. It will be an all-electric building, and it'll meet the Grand Rapids 2030 standards. This is something that we were able to accomplish on our most recent building, which we just finishing up this month. So this will be our second one to meet those targets. As also was pointed out, we will be excited to be partnering with the city on the inclusion program, and that'll be something new for us, and so we're looking forward to that. Also pointing out that it's going to be 10 studio apartments and 8 one-bedroom apartments, and that was influenced heavily by the Housing Next report, which talked about the need for smaller living units, and so we adapted our original plan to follow along with the Housing Next program. We're also going to encourage transit and bikes. Every resident will receive a rapid pass with $10 to get them introduced to the rapid, and we're going to have a first floor bike storage available to all our tenants. So we expect this to be a walkable and a transit tenant who will mostly be the target demographic. But that's it. We're really excited about the project and can't wait to get started.
Great, thank you, Mike. Peter, anything to add?
Thank you for the time. I will just add it's been a great process so far working with the city on the inclusion plan. We've had a great opportunity to meet some new contractors that meet those requirements that we wouldn't have otherwise been introduced to. So it's been a really encouraging program so far.
Thank you. I know those of us on Economic Development Project team, we've already had an opportunity to learn about this project. I know you'll be missed on Wealthy Street when you move over to Leonard, although I know everyone on Leonard will be excited to have you join them. And I know we shared this with you during EDPT, but I'll add my gratitude again for your commitment, not just to equity and inclusion, but also to environmental justice. Thank you.
Yes, and Mayor, I might also add that Peter and Mike have had a very positive experience working with Christian Borg on our team on a step-by-step process and helping them make sure that they got all the right information and we're incorporating the inclusion plan. So hats off to him.
Great, thank you. Thank you for saying that. So I'll see if any commissioners have any questions. Commissioner O'Connor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that Peter did take an opportunity to join us at the West Side SID, and the project was received with great enthusiasm. And there's a lot of good stuff happening on Leonard Street right now. And so it feels like there's some momentum, and we're really excited to have you guys be part of that.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioners, any other questions before I open it up for public comment? All right, we'll turn to Daniel to see if there's anyone who wishes to be heard on this item.
Here comes the first caller.
Thank you.
Caller, can you please lower the volume on your device? Thank you. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and the city in which you live. Your time starts now.
Hi, my name is Susan. I live in Grand Rapids. I think it's fantastic that they want to build some housing here. I have no issue with that. I want to be clear, because they're not being clear and you're not being clear, that what they're asking for here is a tax exemption. So what I have issue with is I don't see the need to give them a tax exemption. I pay my taxes, they can pay theirs. They're not building some kind of low-income housing. They're building studio bedrooms for $950 a month and one bedrooms for $1,000 a month. I wouldn't pay that to live on Leonard Street. That is well more than what my mortgage is, and I live in this neighborhood where they're building. Also, kind of curious, because they're talking about the biking and wanting it to be, transit friendly. That's great. Kind of curious if they're going to have no parking, and that's why they're bragging about that. Just a question I have. But mainly, my point is, great, more power to you, build your business, be a landlord, whatever, but why should I give you a tax exemption? I pay my taxes, you should pay yours. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hi, this is Callan from Grand Rapids. I would just like to express my understanding that public comment periods are going on about whether or not we should give 12 years of a tax break to the building providers by establishing this as an Oprah district. 12 years is a very long time. I think that probably these big businesses that are making these huge profits, they could probably go down in years of tax breaks, tax exemptions, I also like how the developer said that there is a need for smaller living units. I don't think that there's really a need for smaller living units. I think that it's just there's a need for affordable living units that kind of are able, in which you're able to have the space to be able to live your life. To me, it doesn't seem like the price that's being offered for these rooms, or that's being asked for these rooms, are anywhere near what they should be for the square footage. I understand that this is new, groundbreaking stuff and whatnot. So, however the developer wants to price it, I'd also like to give kind of a reminder that while there is a necessity for this housing due to the Housing Act audit, that is in the 50 to 80% AMI range, and yes, this housing is within that range. There's also a necessity for housing within the 0 to 50% AMI range. We need to start breaking ground on projects like those sooner rather than later, because we already have a ton of different apartments and such for people in the 50 to 80 AMI range. Even the 120, those are there. Are they really being filled as much as the need for the lower AMI ranges? That can be, debated and whatnot, but okay. That's pretty much all I'd like to say for that. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now. Caller, can you lower the volume on your device, please?
Hello?
Hello? Yes, can you lower the volume on your device?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll restart your time. Your time starts now.
Hello, my name is Brandon from Grand Rapids, and I'm calling in opposition to the ordinance. I also have questions about how much rent is going to be charged, and it's nice to talk about inclusion. And in the report that was given to us, we see a drastic need for housing improvements, but we are not talking as readily about the gentrification or planning beyond making a plan and talking to groups about maybe coming together. We've had longtime groups that have been saying housing was a crisis well before COVID, and now as we are about to just push out hundreds of people from their homes and evict people this Wednesday, we're going to have the police come in. We're talking about giving the police more money to deal with the dangerous time right now during COVID, but they cannot handle these issues, and even this small amount of money we're putting at it is not going to handle it. We can cut $10 million from education, but we think we need to leave the police budget intact, and we're giving these public and private partnerships that are putting a Band-Aid on what is obviously a crisis. And I think taking away the tax revenue from new development is not the way to go. We need to heavily tax large corporations and the bosses and really gain more power here locally, and that takes leadership to do that. And I hope we make better decisions both in terms of housing and funding of our police. And please do not relocate those homeless people because they have nowhere else to go.
Thank you, caller. Caller, can you please lower the volume on your device?
Yes, I will right now.
Thank you.
Confusing. I can't listen. Hold on.
Alrighty, please state your name, the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
My name is Martha Cooper. I'm calling from Grand Rapids. Wow, I was just informed by one of the other folks' comments and reminded of how the whole downtown on Division got filled with a bunch of apartments, and they were all going to be very small efficiencies for, I think it was $850. So now we're going to give people tax breaks for 12 years so that not even the most vulnerable, where the housing is most needed, are going to be able to live. The thing about parking is ridiculous because it's so close to Belknap neighborhood, and as I understand, there's a development going on up there, and they're talking about people riding buses. Well, that's probably because up in that neighborhood, they're actually starting to charge for parking as if it's Chicago. I know you guys cannot wait to become a great big city, but in those places, it's the most vulnerable that are left in the street. And I just heard a person say something about the police, which reminded me that, and giving more money to the police to police the homeless. I'm just telling you a real quick story about my friend Quincy, who I met living in a car, and he had a car repair, and he bummed a bunch of money, like over $400. He was really talking to great people that really understood that he needed that car to sleep in. And guess what? He got into an argument with the place he was staying, and then they called the police, and then the police found out he had over $400, so they took him to jail, and they lightened his load because he owed the jail for $30 a night. So I don't think the police should be shaking down homeless people for every dime that they've managed to get together to survive on or to keep their car running so they can not freeze. And in fact, I know this person wound up in the hospital with heart failure, as did I last week. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, when is it my turn to be homeless with heart failure? Because that's what you're doing. And I'm supposed to jump for joy that Mel Trotter, who's been raking it in hand over fist, and guiding light. Like, if these things were operating right, then how come they aren't helping more people? I just don't know what to say. You guys are just about breaking my heart. stop with the money for people who don't need it. Pay their taxes is right. They're right. They should be paying their share. If they're so Christian, and I'm going to tell you what, I would give a homeless person a bowl of soup and a place to stay, even if he wasn't Christian. And how are our trans people going to be treated when they go to this Christian organization? I just want to know. I want to know when it stops going to developers. I just found out that from a Wyoming Housing Commission
That's
that
3 minutes,
our
Ms.
developers
Cooper.
are going
Thank
to
you.
Wyoming
Thank you, Ms.
to get their
Cooper.
money.
Thank you. That's 3 minutes. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hi, David from Grand Rapids. I find it interesting listening to giving the tax break when we are in the middle of a pandemic, supposedly, shut down in the city, and you guys seem to be doing nothing for the restaurants. We are going to have a huge homeless problem soon. And, you know, you're going to look at soon, you're going to be sending out the summer tax bills for 2021, and you're going to throw on probably 5, 6, 7, 8%, 9%, 10% just because you can. And are you actually looking at that? Because I'm sure you're in a huge deficit right now. Talking to my neighbor, you are, knowing what's going on. You're not getting money downtown. You're not getting the taxes in and everything else. And you're going to give a tax break to a builder. What about the businesses that are in town not making any money right now? And are you even thinking about that? What does our future hold? Because you're going to give some tax breaks for somebody to move in a certain area. But what about all the businesses that are soon to be out of business because you guys are doing nothing and not standing up for our local businesses? I know it has been nice because you guys did do the hashtag Kent County, whatever it was. You know, that's kind of cool, but that doesn't help us with, 20% business, and especially right now. And now you're going to think about giving a tax break to another business to come in. But yet, we're all going to get slammed here in the next couple of months when you guys want to raise our property taxes and not think about it. That is very pathetic, and I sure hope you vote no on that.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
All right. My name is Allison Lutz. I'm from Grand Rapids. And I just wanted to kind of make a comment. I lived up near Leonard for a long time, and what we need is affordable housing. There are people that desperately need to be able to stay close to their jobs, close to where they need to be for schools and all that, as well as there are just so many people struggling. The pandemic has really shown that. And when it comes to unhousing the people that are staying in Hartside Park against CDC guidelines, or investing our money or giving tax breaks to people that are going to be making tons of money on this for 12 years, and then you're not caring for the people that need your help. The government is supposed to help the people that are struggling, and there are tons of people that would give anything to serve the people of Grand Rapids, to have that honor, and it's being wasted right now, and that's really hurtful to me as a resident, and I really hope that you reconsider trying to take care of the people that actually need you. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, caller. Caller, can you please lower the volume on your device?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Please state your name, the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Thank you. My name is Al Willis. I'm the president of Citizens Leadership Council, and I live here in Grand Rapids. I am calling in support with pretty much every other caller I've heard on this agenda item. I'm calling in opposition of this tax break. If we were going to give a tax break, I feel that it should have a direct it sounds like the city feels this way too, that it should have a direct impact on the people of the city, not people who are, I could be wrong here, but more than likely coming from outside the city to come here and build something so that they can take advantage of our tax breaks. Again, I find this conversation ironic tonight because tomorrow there are people due to be kicked out of the dwelling that they could barely put together in the first place, while we're giving tax breaks to multi-million-dollar corporations. I moved out of the city several times and moved back here because of the heart of Grand Rapids. I also started a community organization here in Grand Rapids because of the heart of Grand Rapids. However, since I started that organization, I started to see why we have the division here in the city. Commission, the city is talking. You all need to listen. Get them out of your back pocket and listen to the people of the city. We are talking to you. Everyone on this call has said the same thing. Listen to us so we can move forward together. I know there are several organizations in the community that would be happy to work with you all. Reach down to us at a community grassroots level and let's have a conversation. Mayor Bliss, my name is Al Willis. I'm the president of Citizens Leadership Council. Please reach out. I've been trying to get in contact with you for a very long time in regards to these exact issues. Thank you, Commission.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name, the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
My name is Charity. I'm from Grand Rapids. I just want to say that we need to not displace our brothers and sisters homeless. This is not right. This is not okay. God said, whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deed. He also says in Matthew, for I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. And in Proverbs, it says, whoever oppresses a poor man insults his maker, but he who is generous to the needy honors him. I don't understand why we have to displace our brothers and sisters. What are we going to do with them? We live in America, one of the richest countries. We do not need to displace them. We have abandoned buildings, abandoned houses. We have what we need. We need to stop being greedy, stop being selfish. We need to love our brothers and sisters and welcome them. I understand that there's a stigma on homeless men and homeless women. I don't even like using that terminology. They're just women and men. There are brothers and sisters that are homeless. But we can do better than this. Come on. What kind of land do we live in? Is this how we treat people? We need not to stigmatize them. There's various reasons of why people are homeless. Our veterans, LGBTQ, and a variety of more other. And I just want to pray right now that, dear Lord, Heavenly Father, I just uplift our homeless men and women, Lord. I ask that you shelter them and protect them, Lord. I ask that you open the hearts to the ones wanting to make this decision, Lord, that their hearts be open and moved, Lord, that they allow you to lead them in the way that they should follow, Lord, and that they listen to you, Father. Father God, I'm going to thank you now, Lord, that everything is in your hands and that you are in control and that the city commissioner and everybody involved will make the best decision on behalf of our brothers and sisters. And I just pray all this in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. And we need to come together as a community. Whatever it is we can do, how can we come together? We need solutions. What can we do to come together to help our brothers and sisters? Is this what you would want if somebody in your family was to become homeless for whatever reason? How is your heart not moved? Tears come to my eyes. I don't understand this. We've got to do better.
That's 3 minutes, caller. Thank you. That's 3 minutes. There are no more callers in the queue, Mayor.
Thank you, Daniel. So I'm gonna turn it back to maybe I'll start with Mr. Gracia, and then I'll see if either of our guests want to speak to any of the comments. Mr. Gracia, can you just add a little background on Oprah and eligibility for this particular designation?
Yeah, so in order to qualify, the city assessor has to inspect the building, which was done in August 2020. And the assessor has to determine that it meets the definition of a functionally obsolete building as defined in the Public Act, and will require significant investment in rehabilitation prior to future use. So this met that threshold. And so any building that meets that threshold, anybody that would like to develop a project is eligible to utilize this type of property rehabilitation mechanism. And so we went through that step and have determined that, and therefore this is eligible project, and therefore the project or the developer has chose to pursue that.
And then maybe Mr. Gracia or one of our guests can respond to the other question I wrote down was related to parking. Remind me, can you just add some context to that? Will there be parking available?
A lot of development.
I'm sorry, I was having a hard time unmuting. No, we did ask for a parking waiver. We have privately on the side looked to see if there are options about leasing some local space, and we have not been successful with that. We are about 600 feet away from a city-owned lot that is available and typically has a lot of parking available. But again, we do believe that the demographic that neighborhood lends itself to, and in particular, some of the things that we're going to make a part of this project lends itself to a transit neighborhood and a bike neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for answering those questions. All right, I'll go ahead and close this public hearing, and this will be referred back to Committee of the Whole. So thank you for joining us tonight. All right, Commissioners, that will take us to our last opportunity for public comment. So this is about any other item that we haven't talked about yet tonight. And so I'll open it up for public comment. Daniel, do we have anyone in the queue?
Here comes the first caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Good evening, City Commissioners and City staff. My name is Robert. I am a young Black man here living in Grand Rapids. And the reason I share my demographics is that I believe that representation matters, and I do not believe that when I listen into these calls, that I hear a lot of voices from young Black men. So I want to shout out to DeAndre Jones, who I've seen talk to the commission numerous times, and who really kind of gave me the confidence to get up and speak my piece. And so I work for a local nonprofit here in Grand Rapids called Friends of Grand Rapids Parks. We plant trees, activate parks, and most importantly, we engage with the community. One of the greatest things that we were able to accomplish this summer, despite COVID, was working with numerous youth. We started a youth green team, and we were also able to work with a couple of youth sent over by the Grow 1000 program. All these youth were young kids of color. Some of our onboarding questions that we asked them, even though all they were doing were maintaining trees, we were asking them what kind of things they wanted to see change in their community and in their neighborhood in Grand Rapids. And, these are like 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, and they're talking about a community of people, that looks out for each other and has community trash pickup days, a community that addresses police brutality, safer food options, healthier food options. And I think that listening to those voices is so critical because there's a data set that shows that 63% of our current youth here in Grand Rapids are young kids of color. And I don't know if I believe that all of the decisions being made in this city, all of the policies are being made with that data mindset in point. So really, I urge all of you, all of my commissioners to really lean into this this progressive movement. I think that a lot of people, even on this call today, kind of brought up the point of we don't want, there's enough top-down management. I think to get to a point where we want to be as a society, we really need to invest in bottom-up approach, grass movement approaches. And, you know, getting to that just and equitable and sustainable society is going to take everybody at the table. One last thing I want to say is that I believe Ms. Alison Marcy-Sutter gave you guys a presentation a couple months ago where you were all asked to choose your top 5. I think it was like 20 keywords. Some of those keywords
That's 3
included.
minutes, caller. That's 3 minutes. Thank you. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hi, this is Taya. I'm from Grand Rapids. I've lived here for pretty much all my life, and throughout that time, I've constantly seen that we've had issues with housing. Outside of just the number of housing we have, it's always the pricing. I've come back throughout my travels, coming back to my hometown thinking that it would always be a safe haven in terms of it being a cheaper place to live. And it went from trying to find an apartment that would luckily be about $300 to now we're talking about $950 to $1,000 for studios to 1-bedroom apartments. I think that's ugly, disrespectful, especially since we have had an issue with disregarding our Grand Rapids residents onto the street for pretty much over 12 years, which is how much that you would want your tax exemption for. I think that it's extremely disrespectful that we're speaking about removing our Grand Rapids residents on the street tomorrow and actually thinking that that's a smart move and trying to rectify that with temporary housing. And not even temporary housing as in individual apartments, but temporary housing as in nighttime places to sleep and daytime access. That does not save people from being on the street. That does not help our housing crisis. And I think that it's extremely important for them to have places to actually congregate when we're actually bringing them supplies. If you have supplies, you're not normally able to bring them into a lot of these shelters that continue to place these roles upon human beings, which is dehumanizing to actually get service. I think that if we actually want to be a healing community, we want to be the community that we perceive ourselves to be, this upstanding renewable energy gentrified place that is run by the bosses. I think that we need to actually look at the fact that we've had the homeless crisis for so long, and every winter it gets worse, especially with coronavirus. And I'm extremely disrespected that it hasn't been something that we thought about before we actually got to winter. Even with Purple Leaf being taken over for them, it only being available for men. Although we have so many homeless women and children on the street, I think that we really need to get our priorities straight as a city. I think that we really need to actually listen to our community members, especially Leonard, who most likely don't need that kind of gentrification in that area, and who haven't actually been talked to about bringing in these new housing developments. I think that we already have people who are renting out houses, single rooms in houses, sharing common space for $800+. And the last thing we need is even smaller spaces for the price that you're asking for. And with that, I concede my time.
Thank you, caller. Caller, can you please lower the volume on your device?
And the last thing we need is even
Caller?
smaller spaces for the price that you're asking.
Can you hello? Can you please lower the volume on your device? Please state your name, the city in which you live, and you have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
How you doing? My name is DeAndre Jones. First of all, I'd like to say Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, City Attorney, thanks for the work that you guys have been doing. This has been a crazy year. I know this is the last City Commission meeting. I'd definitely like to give recognition to that caller, Robert, who gave me recognition for helping him gain confidence to speak to the City Commission, as I've been doing a lot of protesting, rallying, and speaking with different organizations like Justice for Black Lives and many different organizations that have been paving the way for this new revolution of leaders that want to see change in the city of Grand Rapids. I'd just like to say, as I'm developing my community project, jumping at O3C and trying to develop a community center, I'd just like to say that I'm working on things like climate change. I'm working on things like equity. I know that everything that I'm working on, I won't always have the evidence-based programming or the data that most of the commissioners have, but I mean, this is one of the worst cities for economic development for people of color. We need equity, we need housing, we need more than just evidence-based programming, but actual jobs that will actually, we need middle-class jobs for people in poverty in the city of Grand Rapids to take those people out of poverty so we can move up in ratings for actual real equity. We need sustainable housing, we need solar panels on these homes, not just the apartments that people are trying to build here in the city of Grand Rapids for homes. So we need to reach out to those landlords, so those landlords are putting solar panels on those homes, so the utilities that we have at these properties are a little bit less cheaper, so then people could actually afford to stay here in the city of Grand Rapids and afford to have a good life here. I'm just asking for support from the mayor. I'm asking for support from the city. I'm asking for support from everybody from my community project, because I've been working tirelessly and I've been talking to franchisers, and I want to create something that could actually change the world, as I've always been talking about, and that could actually have an economic impact where we can actually bring revenues, and I'm willing to pay my taxes. I'm not trying to find ways to find tax loops or anything, but actually try to contribute to the city of Grand Rapids that I've been dearly given a lot of time to. And commissioners, mayor, city manager, you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys have a good 2021 when it comes in. I appreciate it. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on the line with the City Commission. Please state your name, the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hello, my name is Allie Bates, and I'm the president of Justice for Black Lives and a resident of Grand Rapids. I'm calling in regards to the unhoused population at Hartside Park. I'm truly disgusted by the city's negligence towards the unhoused community. You constantly spend money on this anti-homeless architecture, and now you're trying to evict the unhoused community from yet another home. Studies show that it costs more to implement anti-homeless architecture than it does to actually fix the issue of homelessness. So I asked the City of Grand Rapids, what is your excuse? We've been demanding week after week that you defund GRPD and put more funding into our community, yet it still has not happened. You all need to listen to the community and not the people that line your pockets. The city belongs to more than just the rich and the white. We've been telling you from time after time that what we need and how to fix the issues at hand, but you are not listening. May I remind you that you all work for us, and if you don't do what we say, we will have you voted out once your term is up. I'm demanding the city commissioners use coronavirus relief funds to provide assistance to the unhoused community. Please do your jobs. Take the time to go down there and ask them what they need. And before anyone tries to dismiss any of tonight's comments by saying they're from people that want to defund GRPD and not the affected communities, we are the affected communities. And that's why I'm saying this for the 100th time: defund GRPD and put funding back into this community.
Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Good evening, Watchdog Miller back. Academically, my record excels any known candidate for the new and controversial equity director, which takes away funds from very worthy federal power projects, some of which are federal funded. So, for example, in 1970, I earned second honors, which French is assez bien, from Europe's most prestigious school of political science, l'Institut des Sciences Politiques, at 27 Rue Saint-Brieuc, off Boulevard Spy Boulevard, on the left bank. So, 4 Aprils in Paris. So, after Sciences Po there, I logged another 2 years in Madrid, enrolling almost immediately in our Instituto de Estudios Políticos in Madrid, embedded in a very small Spanish Senate there. Prior to that, in 65, 66, I enrolled for 7 months at the Hochschule für Folksfield Job, Economics School or faculty in Vienna. So that was close to a year. 8 months there in Austria. Found out that the Viennese speak a Mundart or dialect, and so I upgraded to upgrade my German. I went up to Sully, which was purest German spoken, and then went on to Bad Harzburg, where I was surrounded 3 sides by the Iron Curtain. Indefensible Bad Harzburg, impossible to defend, so nobody in town spoke English. My last year in Paris, Churchill's granddaughter was running around many of my classes. Her dad was serving as British ambassador with his wife, Mary Soames Churchill, on behalf of the court of St. James. And her mom, Mary Churchill Soames, famously would say, when she sat on numerous FDR Churchill meetings, it's like 2 lions roaring together at the same time. In July of 70, Lily Rohan came over and introduced herself on the 2nd floor library. So before that, serving in the military for 9 months, active all on Texas deserts, the Dakota Badlands. I served shoulder to shoulder with Americans from all facts of life, races, religions, and so on. Served proudly with them, shoulder to shoulder. Many of my classmates down there in San Antonio, when I landed, it was 120 degrees on tarmac. I would faint because just trying to stand up toward attention, and I always see. And let's go back to Grand Rapids. 1946 on, I would ride city buses across town, Tamarack to Alger,
Caller,
through Monroe,
that's 3
and
minutes. That's 3 minutes. Thank you. Caller, can you please lower the volume on your device? Hello, caller. Hi. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name, the city in which you live. Your time starts now.
Hi, my name is Madeline. I live in Grand Rapids. I am calling to speak on the homeless situation in Hartside Park and the news that has been reported that the GRPD is going to start moving people out of that encampment starting tomorrow, despite the fact that there's no overflow housing available for them yet. I'm going to start by reading from the CDC website the current guidelines under considerations for encampments. If individual housing options are not available, allow people who are living unsheltered or in encampments to remain where they are. Clearing encampments can cause people to disperse throughout the community and break connections with service providers. This increases the potential for infectious disease spread. Okay? So we definitely do not have individual housing options available. It would be excellent if we could have some individual housing options. Maybe a local hotel where we could have individual secure housing options for people. So people will want to stay together in groups with their families, not this 50-bed shelter for men only. I would like to say that I believe that Mark Washington, the city manager, could put a stop to this forced dispersal of the community. We know that he could put a stop to this. We know that you, the commissioners, could encourage him to put a stop to this. And you, the commissioners, do work for us. As Allie stated previously, you work for us. You need to remember that. So I encourage you to let Mark Washington know that we do not want this homeless community dispersed until there are individual housing options available for them. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller, can you please lower the volume on your device? You have 3 minutes. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you please lower the volume on your device that you're watching the meeting on? Thank you. You have 3 minutes.
Yep.
Please state your name and the city in which you live. Your time starts now.
My name is Donnie, and I live in the city of Grand Rapids.
I am a board member of Justice for Black Lives, a nonprofit organization. The sole purpose of my calling today is to speak on behalf of the unhoused population in Hartside. I find it utterly disappointing and quite frankly just disgusting that we are trying to remove unhoused population instead of actually providing them with the resources in order to be able to continue to live and being humane and helping them. I think that I'm very aware that there are other programs and such to get them into housing, but these housing, I'm going to point out the fact that the housing, it takes a lot to get in there, and then there's certain requirements, like as previous said, they're only men only. They can only go there at certain times. It's very hard to get in there, very hard to travel to get there. We definitely need to make it more of a point to, again, give them more resources instead of telling them where to go, actually having a place for them to go and making it more accessible for them and for everyone, man, woman, and child, in order to successfully help them. We're constantly doing things. The city is constantly giving to the community things that are unnecessary, such things as like Shop Spotter. We're doing things like that, and they're constantly asking us for more money, $500,000 more to be exact, to do a better job at catching shooters. Which, again, if you can't get it done with $56.4 million, you're not going to get it done, period. So we're going to need some of that money back so that we can disperse it throughout our community, where we need more mental health. We need better, again, people at our unhoused community at Hartside are in need of more resources, not to be relocated or to have limited resources based off of sex or time or if you can make it or can make it. I think it's in your better interest for your jobs, for you to understand that you need to listen to the community rather than just hand out these things that you think are thoughtful and are going to help us. I think that, it's very vital to your job, once again, to figure out what exactly the community
That's 3
needs.
minutes, caller. Thank you. That's 3 minutes.
Thank you. I appreciate
Caller, can you please lower the volume on your device?
Yeah.
Thank you. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and the city in which you live. Your time starts now.
Hi, my name is Kellen, calling from Grand Rapids. First, I would like to say that I personally would trust DeAndre Jones with getting whatever he says he can get done. So I would very much pay attention to what he's saying and what he can do in order to make groups that help the problems that we're facing in Grand Rapids. So it's been pointed out that by Wood TV that tomorrow the police are going to start the process of moving people outside of Hartside Park. I'm also calling in to ask that you don't displace the unhoused, especially when doing so is in direct violation of CDC guidelines. Mark Washington can easily give orders to Chief Payne, for example, to stop any displacement. It's really that easy. The cities need to start taking these actions to, to show that they're listening to the people. It's common knowledge that the city of Grand Rapids housing sector is incredibly prohibitive. The rent is way too high for the quality and the livability of the places being offered. And if you're a felon, it's basically impossible to attain any housing at all. And I mean any. Housing in Grand Rapids is such a big issue because of the business-first mentality that was signaled by as the city's ideology in 1969. This is when the Calder sculpture was publicly installed. What has been done since then? Neighborhoods are still segregated. We have encampments of the unhoused growing at rates previously unseen. Sure, there are services like the eviction prevention protection program, But anyone who looks into that program understands that this is just another means-tested method of being able to say that the city's doing something. The only prevention that this program does is prevent the client from going around in bureaucratic circles trying to find public services that are available to them. It's just not enough. I personally hope that commissioners like Mr. Nathaniel Moody and Mr. Dodone will be able to take the words that have been said tonight to heart, as many of the people who are calling in are not white, and they have been voicing their opinion about how the city should be conducting its business. Even so, people paying their taxes have a say in how the city does their business, because those are our dollars that are being spent. They aren't coming from anywhere else. This is all money that is given to you by the people, i.e. me, and I have a say, as does everyone else, in how this money is spent. And I don't really like it being spent on displacing unhoused individuals.
Thank you, caller.
I would
That's
rather.
3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Good evening again, Commission. My name is Al Willis in the city of Grand Rapids. I am giving a call back to hopefully give some hope and an opportunity for an outlet for those of my commissioners and fellow residents of the city of Grand Rapids that would like to be a part of something that could actually get something done here in the city, because it seems to be that our commission is not willing to come down to ground level. At least some of the commissioners are not willing to, enough of them, I should say, to come down to the ground level, the grassroots level, and have a conversation with us. So to any of my fellow citizens out there listening in the city of Grand Rapids, Family Over Everything, FOE, JFDL, Justice for Black Lives, and Citizens Leadership Council are all willing, ready, and waiting for you all to step up and come out and join us. We have to remember the difference between government and governance. Government are the elected people that we're talking to tonight that may or may not be listening to us, but governance is done by the people, for the people, because of the people. So people, we have to come together, reach out, get connected, find out how you can help. Make it known that you care about the city that you live in. Don't just show up here and talk and not show up on the ground. These organizations, we need you all. We need you guys to show up. We need to show up in numbers, and we need to help the people of our city that are like us, that we're not too far removed is what I'm trying to get to. Okay, so I'm into the commission. These people are not asking for a hand out. Okay, they're asking for a hand up. And I know that we're limited on resources, COVID and all that is going on. Again, reach out to us as organizations on the ground. We have resources. We can combine our resources. We can combine our resources with the city's resources. I've tried to have conversations with multiple city officials at multiple different events, and I get blown off because why? I'm a grassroots person, right? I'm not sitting at the table with you all whenever you guys have your backdoor meetings or whatever it is, that however you are governing, right? Reach out to us. Commissioners, people of the community, reach out to us. Family Over Everything, you can find them on Facebook. Justice for Black Lives, you can find them on Facebook. Citizens Leadership Council, you can find us on Facebook. Let's stand up, let's stand together, and let's bring our voice back together.
Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hi, my name is Mark, and I'm from Grand Rapids.
Go ahead.
I knew this was going to happen. Homelessness is going to be on the rise here in this city. This is what you see in the news is just the beginning. And if it's not fixed right now, it's going to get worse because it's getting colder. It's not going to get any warmer. And you're going to see serious health problems rising around. Why? Because rents are going up. Individuals getting evicted because they cannot afford the rent. And individuals buying these abandoned properties are fixing them up and making them market rate. Therefore, people who can't afford it and people who are being evicted out of their own units because the rates are going up. They can't afford it. And what you go see that later is what you go see now. Tents all over downtown. That's not good. We don't want to be like Bellevue, Washington. We're over there. Police will give them two choices: join a program or go to jail. And guess who go pay for it? Guess who go pay for that? The homeless people. They can't afford it because they don't have no money. Where they go get the money from? You want that to happen? Trust me, it's going to happen. But nothing is done about it now. Something's going to happen. Just like Flam. Pay now or pay later. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hello, I'm Samaya from Grand Rapids, and I wanted to talk about how wrong this is what people are doing. I'm 14 years old, and I could not imagine having to live on the street because of so many different reasons. And people don't understand what it could be like for them, and they don't think about what if they were in that position, what if their loved one was in that position. And it just hurts so bad to know that we could treat people like this and that we could hurt them and do this to them because they deserve better. They deserve much better. They don't deserve to be treated like this. And there's so many different things we could do just to help out. And instead of helping, we're just making things worse. And then on top of that, it's just so many things. And people go through so many things and they're already on the streets and now they have to deal with this. And then also on top of that, let's not even talk about the fact that there's people who got kicked out because of their sexual preferences or this or that. They got kicked out and they're so young, they don't know what to do, they're scared. And then on top of it, they're stuck homeless because they can't go to school because they're just so worried about having to be able to worry about their next meal that they can't even worry about school, so they're failing. And then they can't get a degree to be able to get a good job, so then it makes it so they can't even make money to be able to even get off of the streets. And then they have people telling them that they're worthless, that they don't deserve to live. And it's just so wrong what we do to each other. Like, people are here to help each other. We're supposed to be empathetic and build each other up, but instead we're tearing each other down. It's not right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hello, my name is Brendan, and I've been a proud resident of Grand Rapids for my entire life beyond my opportunity to go to Shanghai this past year and teach debate for an international debate team. And there I learned so much. And I had a young fifth grader give a beautiful speech about homelessness. And she said, it's the government's responsibility to take care of its citizens. And right now, Grand Rapids tops charts on our racist policing, number 5 in the world for the most racial profiling. And right now we're going to spend $40,000 on a racetrack so that we can train new operatives on how to drive. And tomorrow we're going to kick hundreds of homeless people out of their encampment. Desmond Tutu said that in times of oppression, to stay silent is to err on the side of the oppressor. And I ask you, city commissioners, I know your work is difficult. We have a democracy initiative because apparently we're not so democratic and we need help. As a city, we need more. We need more representation. We need more funding. We need to stand up to the oppressive forces, the oligarchy that runs things now. Thank goodness Biden won the election and we'll be rolling back DeVos's atrocious policies that are not good for our children. Thank goodness we have hope. But right now we need you, city commissioners, to please stand up for those who could be your family members. They could be you out there on the streets right now, unable to even think about any of these things because they're homeless, because they can't formulate square one. So please listen to all of the great community activists and organizers who are working tirelessly to help those in need, who will be there tomorrow, Wednesday, to watch. I wonder where you will be, commissioners. I wonder where you will be, the ones who are now closest in terms of having a say to stand up to these rich and powerful people who don't care. I know you care, but what can we do together as Grand Rapidians to turn this city around? We're booming with economic prosperity and opportunity, and millions of dollars are being made. Why? Why is this the best we can do? Why can we not do more for the people of our community? It's a beautiful city, and we have a bright future because these activists and organizers will not stop. And if you can't help us, get out of the way. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
My name is Suzanne, and I'm calling from Grand Rapids, and I'm just calling to speak in opposition to the removal of the houseless population at Hearthside Park tomorrow. We are in the middle of a pandemic, and it's sad to say that they're probably safer in their individual tents sleeping outside when it's freezing cold out than it is to force them into shelters. And even then, there's not enough room for everybody. And what are we going to do in 2 weeks when the moratorium on eviction and we have even more displaced people? These people are already experiencing enough hardship, and to push them out of where they're staying, where they're sleeping, where they're staying safe, forcing them to collect everything they own and walk away from that, like I said, in the midst of a pandemic and facing the winter that's coming, and it's just not right. And I don't think it's what we should stand for and represent for the city of Grand Rapids. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hello, my name is Cherie. I'm a resident of Grand Rapids. I appreciate the commissioners taking the community's calls. These issues regarding homelessness are not new, and they are a result of decades worth of racism and classism. And I understand that it's not entirely the fault of the commissioners that we're in this position. However, we do have an opportunity right now to stop this cycle and make a better community for us all. I love Grand Rapids. I think it can be a great city. However, I cannot look at the city as great until we take care of our most affected and our most impoverished. And I think that Grand Rapids will really start to shine when we start taking care of our homeless. I do understand that the city of Grand Rapids does not have a plan to take care of the homeless. They rely on our nonprofits, which is fine to a certain extent. However, it's exhausting their resources, and we need to step up. I'm really concerned. I know everyone who's calling in is very concerned, and I know the commissioners are concerned. And I think we need to take this time to really move forward with a different direction, because what we're doing is not working. Thank you for taking my call. I yield my time.
Thank you, caller. Caller, you're on with the City Commission. Please state your name and the city in which you live. You have 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
Hello, this is Martha Cooper. Yes, I was calling before on the Leonard Street, but I really have been listening to many of the comments. We've talked about money for police in the budget here. We're supposed to be fire people, and now they want to protect us. Anyway, I just wanted to point out, I really heard the woman, because she's talking about her business and the things that are going on with all of your nuts in one basket in Beer City. It's just ridiculous what's going on. You guys act like you aren't going to do a dang thing unless that money comes from the federal government. And how I know it, and it's also about homelessness, and I really appreciated Allie's comment. We
we can call it whatever we want, but let's get it back on the agenda, okay? And start talking about that money goes to the community. It's ridiculous. So, but I really want to say more than anything that I see a lot of news stories and people are talking about tax credits for this apartment. And I'm thinking, what about that $6 million that you want to spend of our public-private partnership to develop all of Market Street? We've just moved a drain, but we're going to do that again. And the thing that the city is going to get out of it is an amphitheater. Okay, but they're also going to get a lot of free land for us to get a nice destination city going when this is over with. I'm just like, can you just wait until that's over with? Can you just let these developers pay for stuff? We don't need an amphitheater. We need housing. We need it to be less than 80% AMI. Like 60% AMI is $29,000, $400. And affordable monthly rent and utilities is on your form here, but I love it that you put and utilities. So we don't really know that that rent is probably $800 or whatever. So I don't think you're being genuine at all. And you are certainly not looking at the circumstances, because there's no way any money at all should be spent this year on an amphitheater and access to everybody else with the big money to develop more developments. And are they going to want brownfield developments too? Because those aren't going to any housing developers. So for crying out loud, the housing developers you've given that kind of $29 million was for a great big theater, and we're not using that now. So hey, you guys don't have any damn vision. But I know that it's wrong to spend $6 million and trying to pass it off like an amphitheater is going to do this town a lot of good when people are really freaking suffering. Those people in the park, they're going to double in a month. Nobody's been talking about that at any of the city commission meetings for a long, long time. I'm telling you, we've got to start having a different kind of government than a city manager who's bought and paid for.
Thank you. Thank you, caller. There are no more callers in the queue, Mayor.
Thank you, Daniel. We'll go ahead and close that public comment period. And city commissioners, our city manager poked his head in my office here, and he asked for me to give him a chance to speak first so that he could provide some clarification. Before he does that, I just want to thank everyone who called in tonight. These are really critical issues, and we appreciate all of you being concerned, as are we. So, city manager, did you want to provide some information to all of us?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, for being flexible, and commissioners. I want to thank the public for calling in and sharing their feedback and thoughts and concerns around all the issues that we deliberated today. I want to thank the staff for their work as usual, and all the hard work that they do to make sure that we continue to serve this community. Regarding the feedback on the homeless issue, I share concerns with community members to make sure that whatever we do, we are not making an already difficult issue worse. And our guidance has been to make sure we mitigate the spread of COVID-19, as well as making sure that everyone is able to be appropriately safe and sheltered, particularly during the cold winter months. I want to thank our partners at Guiding Light and Mel Trotter for working with us, as well as the other community stakeholders. And I just want to clarify a couple of things. We too have been following CDC guidelines, and our understanding of the guidelines, if individual housing options are not available, the CDC has been encouraging people to remain in unsheltered encampments as long as they are able to social distance and do what they can to sanitize and mitigate the spread of any type of infectious disease. However, the contingency if housing options are not available. Hence the reason you have not seen the City of Grand Rapids Police nor Fire be aggressive in the encampments that have been happening in the public parks and in the right-of-way, because we had gotten feedback that we needed to create more shelter options to decompress the quarters that exist now. And hence the reason why, to correct any misnomer, there is not going to be a sweeping of the camp tomorrow. What was targeted was the opening of the shelter. And so I want to thank, again, Mel Trotter for partnering with us to open up additional shelter space at the Purple East facility on 250 Onion, which is right across the street from the park, to provide an option, a warm option for those who are in those tents to be able to experience. That sheltering, and there's some other information our partners are really going to have to clarify for the public to correct whatever misinformation may be out there. There are options for both men. There are options for women, but there are all other sheltering spaces that are available for women that are not compressed and are not overly dense. And so there are also additional shelters for transgender populations. So we want to be respectful. All of our values around equity and inclusion still apply. And I just want the public to know that there is, for whatever reason, there is information out that there will be a sweeping or cleaning of the camp tomorrow. That is not the case. What our staff will be doing will be working with the mental health and behavioral health providers who are part of the outreach team, along with our other community partners. They've already talked to many of people who are in the camps who said if there are warmer and better options, many of them would like to move out of that encampment. And we will be working with them to begin the transition as soon as that facility is open. And once it's open, there will be a transition period before anything is done in the park. And the parks do have to be clean. So I just wanted to clarify that, and we'll try to get more information out to share with the public. But I appreciate, again, everybody who's calling in, and your concerns are valid. But I think there's a little misinformation about what exactly is happening this week and tomorrow. So thank you for that, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, City Manager. And we should work to make sure that we have good information out there. And I'll just add, and you can confirm, we also are working with a community partner, Community Rebuilders, around rapid rehousing. And then the county has partnered with a number of folks, including us, to actually utilize hotel space for isolation. So it really is a system-wide effort to make sure that we have ample space for individuals.
Yeah, and that's correct, Mayor. And in addition to that, what you saw was other resources on eviction prevention programs. And so it really is a holistic effort that we're trying to take to make sure people are appropriately housed.
Yeah, thank you, City Manager. All right, with that, I'll now turn to my colleagues, and I'll start tonight with Commissioner Moody.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to thank the city manager for the explanation that he just gave. I really appreciate it. I do also am concerned about the homeless populations that's in our community. And I'm also concerned about the fact that the temperature does drop 9 times out of 10, there will be some deaths, and we do not want that to occur. So safety is very important. I appreciate all the callers that called in. And to the social justice for Black Lives Matter, I am willing to sit down and talk with you anytime. You have my email address, you have my telephone number. Give me a call. I'm willing to talk with you. And for what it's worth, Christmas holiday is coming up. I wish everybody a wonderful holiday, and I hope everybody stays safe. So peace be unto each and every one of you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner O'Connor?
Thank you, Mayor. And yeah, thanks to all the callers for calling in, and thanks to the city manager for providing that explanation. And I think we're all obviously concerned about the unhoused population in our community. We get a variety of phone calls about, just the conditions at the park and wanting people to be safe. And at the same time, it's become an almost impossibility for, people to enjoy the park. I'm really fortunate and happy that we were able to forge a partnership with Mel Trotter to get Purple East on board. But, it's a facility in great proximity, and has some amenities that will work for this, but it's not ideal. I think most of us around this table probably agree that housing first is the model that we should be looking for. But at this point in time, finding locations that we can safely house people has become the challenge. So as we continue to try to address this problem, we need places for people to be able to safely be off the street. And I look at the commercial real estate stuff every day. There's not a hotel, motel, apartment building for sale in Grand Rapids. If there was, I think we'd have interest in trying to acquire that or trying to lease that to be able to use it in the short term to be able to put people in. I find it interesting today. We passed some zoning changes, which we get, I think, very positive feedback about main floor residential in Grand Rapids. And then I look, in that neighborhood where a lot of our unhoused population lives, and there's a bunch of LIHTC projects that have main floor commercial suites that don't have any tenants in them and haven't had any tenants in them for, some of them over a decade. And thinking like, it'd be really a great time for some of our low-income housing tax provider housing developers to maybe step up and consider opening those spaces up to allow us to house some people. I think that'd be a really innovative and unique position to be in, to say, hey, we have these spaces that aren't functioning. They're not contributing to the productivity and the viability of our neighborhoods, but maybe they could be in the short term. So if you know where our hotel motel could be for sale, let us know. And let's hope maybe some of these LIHTC developers might be open to some creative solutions in the short term.
Thank you, Commissioner. But I'd be willing to talk with them. I think that's a great idea. Let's go with Commissioner Lanier.
Thank you, Mayor. City Manager, thank you for providing some clarity as it relates to what the city's plans are, and that we are not planning this great exodus on tomorrow. And thank you for the work that has gone into securing the partnership for Purple Lease. In addition to that, the hotel space, and we've been talking about that last week or a couple weeks now, and I'm happy to hear that we're finding warm places of shelter for those who are unhoused. So thank you for that work, and thanks to everyone who called and expressed their concerns today.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Ruppert?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. And I too want to thank everybody who called in. Thank you for your empathy, compassion, and solidarity for the folks who are experiencing such a difficult time right now. And we share that same compassion with you. And thank you to the city manager for that explanation. It's our last meeting of 2020. There's a real temptation to say good riddance 2020, but I feel like this year has brought forth some incredibly important things for us to talk about, and has also allowed us to move quicker on things than we have in the past. And so from that, I'm very encouraged. It feels like great training for, we're not done yet through this pandemic, and we still have much more work to be done. So I feel like our muscles got stronger. We built up some new pathways toward creativity that I'm excited about. And so I'm also really encouraged, switching to this virtual format is not, I don't like it, and I was worried that engagement would drop off. I was worried that people wouldn't tune in, that they wouldn't pay attention, but I'm so grateful that every meeting we've had people who've called in and paid attention and expressed their opinions and thoughts for us to consider. We appreciate that a great deal. I just want to encourage everybody to stay safe this holiday. We still need to remain vigilant, and also to shop local. Buy the Christmas gifts, and get a chance to go out to eat over the holidays. Shop local. If you're going out to buy groceries, maybe tune into a neighborhood store to pick up a few extra things, because we really need to pull together and support one another right now. Last, I just want to welcome David Green to Grand Rapids, our new communications director, as well as to thank Lynn Heemstra for her years of service to the city at Our Community's Children, who is moving on from that role. So welcome, David. Thank you to Lynn, and thank you all to the whole staff of the city of Grand Rapids. 2020 was everybody put in a lot of work, and we're so grateful for everything that every day, every night that you worked on behalf of the citizens of Grand Rapids. Thanks.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Isasi?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to also share thanks for people calling in. I think I only had 4 or 5 meetings in person in chambers, and so this is our new normal. And I think it requires, Commissioner, you talked about building up muscle. It requires, just an opportunity to sometimes connect with people in different ways. In some ways, having more time because we're not running to different things. But I do appreciate the update that City Manager gave. I think today, in the Committee of the Whole and in preparation for this meeting, there has been so much work and I think accomplishment over this last year. We've been operating in such an emergency mode. I think it's hard to remember how all these things tie into our strategic plan. So thank you, Mark. I had the opportunity to talk with our Community Development Director, Ms. Solhach today, Chief Lehman last week, provided an update about the homelessness. Chief Payne talk about issues around technology and policing. So I know our city staff is working all the time at different moments. It can feel very overwhelming. And then we also hear the desperation, quite honestly, in people's voices on calls. And we know people who have been displaced. We drive by places. Some of us work in nonprofits that engage with people who are experiencing homelessness. And so, this issue, I think, is the solution is housing for homelessness. But as Commissioner O'Connor talked about, this is the moment that we're in, and this is the point that we're in. So I thank everyone for their efforts. I just want to thank really all of you as my colleagues over this last year. I knew some of you better than others, but I'm grateful for all of you, and I look forward to 2021. And just because something, I'd like to say good riddance too, but I think there is a lot that we learned and grew out of, and I'll be grateful for this time to continue to ask, what can we do more, or different, or better, and innovate to ensure that the growth and prosperity of Grand Rapids reaches all of our neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Commissioner Jones.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to also thank City Manager Washington for that, for providing that context. I think that was very important. And to your point, Mayor, maybe we need to make an extra effort to get the information out there even more, even after this meeting, to let folks know about what's happening with the homeless population and the opening of the Purple Leaf building. I also want to thank the callers, all who called in. It goes without saying that although we sit on the dais, so to speak, we are not removed from the realities of our community. And so I know that at times it seems as if perhaps, again, because of the very nature of the public comment process where we're not able to respond, perhaps it gives off the impression that we don't have care and concern. But I would suggest that we are empathizing and sympathizing just as much as anyone else in our community as it pertains to our homeless brothers and sisters, as well as those in our community who have been historically marginalized. So I just want to again thank those who called, and also want to give a shout out to my co-laborer in the Second Ward, to my colleague Commissioner Isasi, for her first year. It was mentioned earlier in another meeting that there's no doubt that she will probably go down in history as having one of the most interesting first years in elected office locally. And yet I think that she is no doubt, like all the rest of us, are going to benefit in some way, form, or fashion from the absolute roller coaster that we've all been on throughout the course of this year. And so I'm grateful to have her as a partner and as a co-laborer in the work. And I want to just close with something that has had been sticking with me for some time. It's actually words from Pope Francis, and I think it speaks volumes in terms of perhaps what our mindset should be, and not just ours, but all people. And that is, he said, to come out of this pandemic better than we went in, we must let ourselves be touched by others' pain. And so I know that, again, in speaking about the homeless population and just a lot of the hurt that is happening in our community, I think that in order for us to come out better, we have to obviously position ourselves to be touched by others' pain, because it's not just the homeless population, but of course it's all of those who have lost their lives to COVID-19, as well as those who have family members who have lost loved ones to homicide this year in our beloved city. So I just want to end by recognizing those individuals who are, again, experiencing significant hurt and pain, and just wishing you the best for the closing of this year and hopefully a much better 2021. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let's turn to our appointed officials. City Attorney?
Nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. City Clerk?
On December 31, you'll hear a big sigh from all the clerks around the state, closing out 2020 from all the way back if you remember back to the presidential primaries that started at the beginning of this, all the way through this election that I think is over now after the electoral college has met. But obviously we see things still popping up all over of distrust in the system and the like. Audits are going on by the Kent County Clerk right now. And so none of the Grand Rapids precincts were called for an audit by the state, but we're still going to have a precinct audited on Friday, just because we want to show that one of our precincts to be part of that process, to show that transparency. So even though we didn't have to do an audit of a precinct, I offered a precinct to be audited on Friday as well. Just that we give that appearance that, you know, we ran our elections fairly and squarely, and I know there's a lot of distrust, and I still talk to voters from Grand Rapids who still don't believe in the system or whatever, and I think it's going to take a long time for that to come. And it's not any fault of clerks or any others. I just think that's where we're at in this system too. So looking forward to 2021. I wish you all a happy holidays for everybody out there watching.
Thank you, City Clerk. City Manager?
I get a second bite at the apple, Mayor?
Any final thoughts?
No, again, happy holidays and happy New Year's to everyone.
Yeah, thank you, City Manager. And I'll add, you know, I echo what my colleagues have said around this table. You know, these are really heartbreaking issues, you know, in our community and communities all over this country. And there has been a lot of grief and a lot of loss and a lot of sadness this year and a lot of challenges. And I have always believed that with challenges come opportunities for growth and improvement. And I know that next year is not going to be perfect. We're going to have a lot of difficult issues to continue to work on. But I'm grateful to be doing it with all of you and really with an exceptional team here at the city. And as we close out this year, I just want to take this moment to express gratitude, not just to all of you, but really to everyone in our community. And all of those who called in tonight, thank you for calling in and for your engagement, because we need all of you. We need all of us in this community to step up and be a part of helping those who are less fortunate and those who are struggling. And I want to take this moment to thank everyone who has stepped up this year, this really unprecedented year of heartache. You know, here in our community, we saw so many experiences of hope and love and compassion. I want to say thank you to every healthcare worker and frontline worker, every individual who is working at nonprofits to continue to support people who are struggling, every public service worker who's been out there in the midst of a pandemic, you know, really putting their health on the line to continue to serve, grocery store workers, you know, our bars and restaurants and other venues that have been closed down who are struggling. You know, there's so many people in our community who have given so much this year to help us all get through this pandemic and to do it as safely as possible. And I want to give a huge shout out to our partners at the County Health Department. Dr. London has been tremendous. His leadership is so deeply appreciated, not just here in our community, but I know at the state level as well. So as we come to a close and we enter this season and this holiday, I do believe it's a time to reflect and to pause, but most of all, to be grateful for the things that we do have and to also find hope in sometimes what seems like a dark season. So I wish all of you a very happy holiday. I hope it is safe and I hope you are filled with lots of love. And I will look forward to saying goodbye to this year and we'll look forward to rolling up my sleeves and continuing to work next year. So with that, we will adjourn and I hope you all have a great night. Thanks.